Okay, let's get into one of the most important and, frankly, world-changing events in history, the Haitian Revolution.
It really is. We're going to trace how this tiny island colony in the Caribbean completely altered the course of history.
And it's the only successful slave revolt in history that actually created a new nation.
Exactly. So, to set the scene, let's go back to the 1700s. We're on the island of Hispaniola, specifically the French side, which was called Saint Domingue.
And this place wasn't just some backwater colony. It was incredibly wealthy.
Oh, unbelievably so. It was producing huge amounts of sugar and coffee for Europe. I think something like 40% of all the sugar and maybe 60% of the coffee.
That's a staggering amount.
It is. But all of that wealth, every single bit of it, rested on the brutal labor of hundreds of thousands of enslaved people brought from Africa.
And the conditions were just horrific. The life expectancy for an enslaved worker was so short, wasn't it?
Extremely short. Just exhaustion, disease. It was a system that literally consumed human beings.
So you have this very rigid social structure, a very small group of white settlers at the top with all the power controlling everything.
Right. And that created this intense tension with the massive enslaved population and also with the mixed race people on the island. It was always just about to crack.
And then you get a spark from halfway across the world.
The French Revolution. It starts in 1789, and its core document, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen.
All men are born free and equal in their rights.
Exactly. And that news travels. It gets to Saint Domingue very quickly.
And the reaction is explosive.
Completely. The enslaved population hears this and demands that liberty. The free people of color, the mixed race population, they demand their equal rights.
But the white colonists, they want independence from France, but they absolutely refuse to free their slaves.
So you have this huge instability. Everyone is fighting everyone.
And then it happens, the official start.
August 1791. In the northern part of the colony, a leader named Duddy Boukman organizes this secret religious ceremony, a voodoo ceremony.
And this was to unite the people, right?
To unite them. And it worked. Thousands of enslaved people just rose up almost instantly.
And they didn't just attack people, they went for the system itself.
That's the key. They burned the sugar plantations, they destroyed the machinery, they wanted to dismantle the entire economic engine of slavery.
The colonial government must have been completely caught off guard.
Totally surprised by the sheer size and the speed of it. And within just a few weeks, the entire northern plain was basically under the control of the revolutionary forces.
They used their knowledge of the land, too.
Oh, absolutely. The mountains, the forests, they used it to hide, to launch these really effective surprise attacks. They completely challenged the whole system.
And this is where the central figure of the revolution emerges.
Toussaint Louverture.
A former enslaved man who becomes the most important leader of the entire movement. What's so incredible is his background. He wasn't a field hand. He was educated.
He was, which was very rare. He had learned to read and write, and he had this incredible intelligence, this military genius that became clear almost right away.
Because he didn't just lead a rebellion, he built an army.
He did. He trained his soldiers to fight like a professional army, not just a disorganized group. He very skillfully balanced European military tactics with the local guerrilla fighting styles.
Which is where he got his nickname, right? Louverture.
The opening. Because he was so good at finding gaps in the enemy lines. His leadership gave the whole movement a clear direction and real discipline.
But the situation gets even more complicated when other European powers get involved.
Right. Britain and Spain, they're at war with France anyway.
Yeah.
And they see this as a chance to seize this incredibly wealthy colony for themselves.
So Toussaint has to navigate this. And at first he actually fights for Spain.
He does, because Spain promised to support the end of slavery. He was playing the long game, looking for the best deal for his people.
Until the French make a better offer.
A much better offer. In 1794, the French government officially abolishes slavery in all its colonies.
That's the moment.
That's the game changer. Toussaint switches his loyalty, joins the French Republic, and now he's fighting against the British and the Spanish.
And he's successful.
Very. Toussaint's troops, combined with the devastating impact of yellow fever on the European armies, it was a disaster for the British.
Thousands of them died.
Thousands. They eventually had to just withdraw their forces. It proved Louverture was not just a great general, but a brilliant politician, too.
So by 1801, Toussaint is in control of the entire island, all of Hispaniola.
The whole island. He sets up a new government, writes a constitution that abolishes slavery forever, and he appoints himself governor general for life.
But then he faces this huge problem. How do you rebuild an economy that you've just destroyed?
Exactly. And to restore the economy, to buy weapons and supplies, he basically required people to go back to work on the plantations.
As paid laborers, though.
As paid laborers, yes, they weren't enslaved. But for a lot of people, this system felt way too similar to the old life. It created a lot of tension.
And while he's dealing with that internal problem, a massive external threat is brewing in France.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon takes power, and he decides he wants to restore the old colonial system. And that means bringing back slavery.
He sees Toussaint as a direct threat to his authority. So in 1802, he sends a massive fleet, thousands and thousands of soldiers, led by his own brother-in-law, General Charles Leclerc.
And Toussaint's response is just scorched earth.
Burn it all down. Burn the cities, leave the French with nowhere to stay, nothing to eat. The fighting was incredibly brutal.
But the French managed to trick him.
They did. They invited him to a meeting, a supposed peace negotiation, and it was a trap.
They arrested him.
Arrested him, shipped him to Europe, and locked him in this cold prison in the Jura Mountains. He died there in April 1803.
Napoleon thought that was it. Cut off the head of the snake.
A huge miscalculation, because the betrayal and the fact that everyone now knew the French plan to bring back slavery, it just unified the movement.
And a new leader takes command.
General Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And he was much more aggressive, more radical than Toussaint.
He realized there could be no compromise.
None. He saw that total independence was the only way to guarantee freedom, so he unified the entire movement with one goal: create a new nation.
And he creates a powerful new symbol for that nation, the flag.
Yes, he takes the French tricolor, the blue, white, and red, and he rips out the white stripe.
Symbolizing the removal of the white colonists.
Exactly. A clear statement of intent.
And it all comes down to one final, decisive battle.
The Battle of Vertières in November 1803. The local forces showed just unbelievable courage. The French were already weak from yellow fever and a lack of supplies.
And the Haitian forces just charged the cannons.
They did. They knew it was freedom or re-enslavement. And that desperation, that courage, it just broke the French. They were forced to surrender for good.
It's a landmark moment. The first time in history a slave revolt successfully defeated a modern European army.
And on January 1st, 1804, they declare independence from France.
And they choose the name Haiti.
Right, from the original name the indigenous Taino people used. A total rejection of the colonial past. Haiti becomes the first independent black republic in the world.
And the second independent nation in the Americas right after the United States. Dessalines is named the first head of state.
The legacy is just massive. It proved that enslaved people could govern themselves, and it inspired independence movements all across the Americas.
But Haiti faced huge challenges from day one.
Absolutely. The other powerful countries, the slaveholding nations like the U.S., refused to even recognize its independence for decades. It was totally isolated.
And then there's the debt.
The indemnity. In 1825, France finally agreed to recognize Haiti, but only if Haiti paid them a huge sum of money.
As compensation for what?
For the property the French colonists had lost, their slaves. It was an enormous debt that crippled Haiti's economy for more than 100 years. It's fundamental to understanding the struggles the nation has faced ever since.
But despite all of that, the revolution itself remains this incredibly powerful example of the human desire for liberty, against all odds.
It's a vital part of understanding the origins of modern democracy.
This incredible story just shows what people can achieve when they fight relentlessly for their freedom.
So remember this fight for freedom next time you're studying history.
Good luck with your studies.